Hey everybody, welcome back. Craig Shoup here with Bob Garver, our film critic from New York City. Bob is here. We are talking movies. It has been a little bit. We've taken a small break here, Bob, but we are back and we have plenty to talk about. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. And of course, since we last spoke, Nora won 5 Oscars, which I am
Exactly. And
so excited about.
Sean Baker won four, which is
A
unique,
record.
tying a record, but also setting a record for most individual Oscars for the same movie in one night, which is extremely crazy. I know we were both skeptical of its chances only because of the subject matter, but I think we are both pleasantly surprised and happy that Honora did clean up, and I think in the end, I think Oscar voters decided that they wanted to vote for the movie that was the best of the year, or at least among the best of the year. I know you were also a big fan of Nickel Boys, but Honora definitely set a big. I think it sets a tone moving forward as well for the types of movies that could win Best Picture. I know we kind of talked a little bit about The Shape of Water doing something similar to that as well. For the subject matter, able to win an Academy Award for Best Picture, but Honora definitely does that too. Where I think independent filmmaking is alive and well, and I also think that it's going to be a good future for independent cinema with its chances to win Best Picture and several other Oscars. So kudos to Honora. Any final thoughts there?
Absolutely, they made the right decision, um, and it led to a resurgence in that movie's box office, if
Yes.
only a minor one. But I'm so happy to have seen that it did so well, both critically and commercially.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a crop of new Oscar hopefuls, maybe not Oscar contenders so far this year, but we do have a crop of new films that we will discuss. I'm glad you're able to get out to the theater. It seems like we're starting to see a little bit more theatrical releases, which is nice. And our first movie is Last Breath. Tell us a little bit about Last Breath.
Last Breath tells the story of a real life rescue of a underwater pipeline worker, deep sea pipeline worker, that found himself stranded in the middle of stranded underwater on a pipe in the middle of a vicious storm. And it's up to a crew including Simu Liu as another diver, Woody Harrelson as the captain of a deep sea vessel, and oh gosh, who's the third? Oh, Cliff Curtis on the ship that oversees the vessel. So yeah, really good cast there, and they try, and it's not that I don't care about this character, but um, if you're up for a rescue movie that takes place in a relatively short amount of time. I
Mhm.
think the whole thing lasted about 40 minutes. It cuts between the various characters to kind of stretch out the runtime. Um, if you like that kind of movie, great. I wasn't really feeling it, and I gave it a C. But I can see where somebody would like this movie.
Okay. All right. Well, I know that your next movie there's a lot of high hopes for. This is actually a movie that I've seen as well, Mickey 17. This is the highly anticipated follow up from Bong Joon Ho, the multiple time Oscar winner for Parasite in 2019, which was deservedly a Best Picture winner as a foreign language film. It was a terrific film. This is his follow up, where, of course, in Bong Joon Ho form, he's going to satirize a lot of different aspects of life. He's going to give us a little bit of a stranger movie this time. He's going to have a science fiction satire, dark comedy, space adventure with Robert Pattinson. What are your thoughts here on Mickey 17?
Well, I mean, first of all, talk about a Best Picture winner that was outside the box. Parasite,
Oh,
a movie completely in a foreign language that managed to outdo everything in the English language that year.
yeah.
But Mickey 17, yeah, it tells the story of this character played by Robert Pattinson who volunteers to take on dangerous missions that usually result in death. And then what happens is they just carry over his conscience into a new body that they basically take out of a 3D printer.
Yes.
And so he knows what it's like to have died, I guess, 16 times.
Yeah. And they also have they poke a little fun at the printing process multiple times as well, which is kind of unique. As they're I don't know what your overall thoughts are. I mean, it's a little bloated. I think the movie goes all over the place at times, but I did enjoy it quite a bit, though. It was always entertaining. There were some real laugh out loud moments, and I thought Robert Pattinson really delivered an interesting performance as well. What are your overall thoughts on the movie?
I love the Pattinson performance, and to be honest, we're going to be talking about some movies today where I could see. I know you said they're not going to be Oscar contenders, and they're not, but I could see an outside chance of a Best Actor or Actress in a musical or comedy at the Golden Globes nomination for some of these performances we're going to be talking about today.
Sure.
And Pattinson's one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not as focused, I don't think, as maybe Parasite was, but again, you're talking about a multiple Oscar-winning film. It was a terrific, terrific film. Definitely one of the best of that decade, and it was a very strong year. I mean, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was in that category, and in a lot of those categories, and Bong Joon-ho really earned his stripes there. Obviously, like I said, I think this was less successful, but I did like the movie overall. I thought it was entertaining throughout. There were some laugh out loud moments. There were some great performances, like I said, with like you said too, with Robert Pattinson. I thought he really brought it as a couple of different characters playing Mickey 17 and Mickey 18, but it might go off the tracks every now and then, but I think by the end, and it might be like 10-20 minutes too long possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Bong Joon-ho is able to craft a fun little unique project in a science fiction satire that we don't normally see a lot of. Usually science fiction's a little bit more darker, and there's no humor, or there's more at stake, and there's a lot at stake here, but I feel like they have a lot more fun with it than you probably normally would see in most science fiction ventures.
Yeah, this movie is light for a movie with as dark subject matter as it eventually goes to.
Do you have a final grade for Mickey 17?
B minus.
Okay,
That's
I gave
a
it
recommendation.
I gave it 3 stars, which is also a recommendation for me. Next up, we have Novocaine. So I know that you talked earlier this year about Jack Quaid, the son of Dennis Quaid, and sort of maybe getting in on the Jack Quaid train here as a potential movie star, and you were interested in Novocaine. And were your expectations met here for Jack Quaid's leading man start, or his role as a leading man now?
I do like Jack Quaid in this movie, but I'm not really going for the movie itself. He plays a guy who can't feel pain, which you'd think would make him into a really good action movie star, but it really doesn't. For example, if he gets cut or burned, he can't feel it, so that leaves him open for infection if he doesn't treat it relatively quickly.
Mhm.
He can't keep himself from biting his tongue, so he can't have solid foods unless he really focuses. He can't even feel the pangs associated with having to go to the bathroom, so he just has to go every 3 hours whether he needs to or not. So he's got a lot of problems with this condition.
Mm.
But when he is sent on a mission to rescue his kidnapped girlfriend, he does use his condition to his advantage. And we get some fun variations on action scenes based on that.
Okay. Obviously, you were excited about Quaid. You can only do so much with the material that you're given. Is it one of those situations maybe where Quaid continues to kind of show you that he's got the chops to be a movie star, but maybe just not the right project?
Yeah, I think he should have found a better project than this.
What's your final grade for Novocaine?
See, I like the Jack Quaid performance, but not a lot else.
Okay. All right, next up we have now I believe we're talking Looney Tunes here. Is it
Yeah.
the day the Earth blew up? So Looney Tunes kind of, I don't know. I mean, this is not really a lot of fanfare. I mean, maybe I'm not the advertising audience for this specific movie, but this kind of limped out with a little bit of lesser fanfare than you would maybe expect. Maybe it's just me. I didn't see a lot of advertising for it, but tell us a little bit about the movie.
Well, this stars Porky Pig and Daffy Duck. The main guy Bugs. He's nowhere to be seen. But this stars them as a pair of um, almost brothers. I don't know their exact parentage, but they grow up as brothers,
Okay.
and they find themselves at a center of what they think is an alien invasion plot that actually turns into an asteroid is about to destroy the Earth plot. Um, but Porky is the more conservative of the two. Daffy's really bouncing off the walls. Um, it's just a lot of old school 2D animated comedy. This isn't Space Jam where there's a lot of technological breakthroughs with live action.
Hmm.
Um, just kind of a classic style. Although they do unfortunately try to update it for modern times. For example, they need some money to fix their roof. So Daffy suggests they become influencers on social media. And there are a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
you laugh. I thought those jokes were painful.
yeah.
And they throw in a lot of modern songs that I think kind of detract from the action.
Mm.
Um, I wasn't really digging this one. There's a reason why these two haven't been allowed to carry movies before.
Right.
Um, and I gave it a C.
Okay.
I know a lot of Looney Tunes purists love this movie, and more power to them. I just can't say I'm as big a fan of it as they are.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, like I said, kind of an interesting pairing when you're going to go the Looney Tunes route, but not have Bugs Bunny as sort of a main attraction. But okay, well, hopefully we get a little bit more quality here. Our next film is Black Bag. I guess it wouldn't be a year without Steven Soderbergh getting back into it, and this is already his second release this year. He had the horror movie Presence come out in January, so Soderbergh was, probably one of the more prolific, A-listers, a winner for Traffic, a Best Director for Traffic in 2000. One of my favorite directors because he's so prolific, but he always seems to generally pick good projects. So Soderbergh back here with Michael Fassbender and Kate Blanchett. Tell us a little bit about Black Bag.
Well, with Black Bag, the keyword is sleek. This is a spy thriller with lots of twists and turns, lots of fast-paced dialogue between the leads, and a very complicated plot involving a weapon system that could destroy tens of thousands of lives. Um, and yeah, you can tell this is the guy that did the Ocean's movies because everybody is the smartest person in the room. The main characters are the smartest characters in that room.
Mm-hmm.
But
Is it an effective movie? I mean, obviously Soderbergh is a very prolific director, but he comes with a lot of Oscar pedigree, so certainly he's got the popularity. But what about Black Bag? Is this worthy of the Soderbergh name?
yes, it is. I give it a B minus. It gets a recommendation. I couldn't follow all the details of the plot with the missile system, but there's plenty to enjoy with the chemistry between especially Blanchett and Fassbender, and the supporting players like Naomi Harris and Regé John Page.
Mhm.
They're good too.
Okay.
Even though it gets too complex for my taste, there are plenty of enjoyable moments, and I can see why critics really like this one. I think it's somewhere in the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes,
Yeah.
and I give it a recommendation.
All right. Fantastic. Well, this last movie we're going to discuss here is a highly anticipated release on the Disney release calendar this year. Snow White it seems like this movie has been talked about for a number of years. I think it went through some of the COVID delays, production delays, things like that. So years and years later, we finally get the release of the Rachel Zegler led Snow White, directed by Mark Webb. Tell us about Snow White's live action foray.
Well, it's an ambitious remake. There's a lot more about Snow White trying to save her kingdom from the evil queen played by Gal Gadot. But I like the new stuff because it paints her as a much stronger character than kind of the waif she was in the 1937 version. So I like the characterization of Snow White here, and Zegler is another one of those performances I could see getting a Golden Globe nomination
Sure.
for lead in musical or comedy, especially because she sings in this, which that's always bonus points.
That's helpful. Yeah.
Pulling the movie in the other direction is the dwarfs, because these things are CGI abominations that didn't need to be CGI. They could have easily cast live action actors, and the fact that they look so hideous in CGI is further evidence that these should have been live action actors.
Yeah.
So I can't not recommend the movie based on the Zegler performance, but it's almost like I can't recommend the movie based on the dwarfs. I give this a B minus minus. It just barely scrapes by with a recommendation because the dwarfs are so hideous, but Rachel Zegler and some other new elements like the new songs save it just barely.
Okay. Well, that happens, and I think it is an interesting choice, to go the CGI dwarf route. And I know that I'm not sure exactly. I believe Peter Dinklage had weighed in on this issue several years ago. Like I said, this movie seems like it's been talked about now for many, many years, where there was a lot of controversies about Zegler talking about Snow White and trying to reimagine the story and make it more modern, things like that. And I think that it's kind of a curious. Do you think it's there might be some dwarfs or some little people that maybe feel like slighted that they didn't get a chance to be in this movie, or maybe they didn't want to be in this movie and they had to go the CGI route? I mean, does it seem like the CGI route was the more politically correct way to go, or do you feel like it would have been?
No, I think this took jobs away from dwarf actors. And again, if they had pulled this off, if they had created some really good characters with the CGI, then I would be saying, they have a point, but I see both sides of the argument. The fact that they look so hideous means that I don't see the other side of the argument. So
okay. Makes sense. All right. Well, I've also heard a lot coming out of the movie about Gal Gadot's performance. Is it less than spectacular from what I've heard? I heard it's a little bad.
I don't have a strong opinion on her.
Okay.
I like that she gets to choose some scenery during her song. Yeah, the evil queen gets a song in this movie.
Okay.
But aside from that, she's just scowling and doing exactly what you would do for the evil queen role.
All right. Well, sounds good. A quasi recommendation there from Bob. Do you have anything coming out next week? What's on the horizon here on the release schedule, Bob?
There's not a whole lot. We've got a new Jason Statham movie called A Working Man.
Of course, why not?
And after that, I'm on vacation for a while. So, but we can pick back up after that. Thank you for agreeing to do a show with me today.
Absolutely, no problem there, Bob. As always, we appreciate you stopping by. We hope you enjoy some time at the movies before your vacation, but we hope you have a nice resting vacation, and we'll see you again very soon.
Thank you very much. Take care. This is the highlight of my week.